Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are actually going to be outside in the backyard. I want to replant my lemon citrus tree. It's a Meyer Lemon that I got from Lowe's about 4 years ago now for $1. It was on the clearance rack and it had a lot of dead in it and it just didn't look happy. I think it had 3 leaves on it when I bought it and I took a chance and it's doing well. Recently it had some chlorosis issues and iron deficiency. It's starting to come back from that, but I also want to add a little extra iron today just to kind of help it along through the heat. We will be replanting it from a plastic container into a blue glazed ceramic container. I got the container from TJ Maxx for about 30 bucks. It was an awesome deal to find it. Again, I love going there for their pots and planters. They have an amazing selection. It's really fun to go shop and find the really heavy duty stuff that you'd pay, 2, 3 times, 4 times the price somewhere else. So we're going to be using that today. I'd love to get it repotted, fertilized, add some iron, and we'll get it raised up on some cinder blocks, and we'll also clean out the corner that it is going to be living in. So let's get this project started. It's about 92 degrees out today, so I've got my sun hat to keep me nice and cool, this might be in segments throughout the day, just depending on how hot I get, and I might have to take breaks. I've got my ice water close with me, so let's get going. Alright guys, here is the planter I'm going to be using. It is a very large, it's got at least a 14-inch base because I picked up this tray for it, but it's so pretty. It is ceramic glazed. It should be a really great sized pot. It's got a giant hole at the bottom. I'm not sure what I'm going to put to cover that. I haven't thought that far yet, so I'll look around, but let's get this taken to the backyard so we can get started. Okay guys, first thing I'm going to do is clear out this corner. There's a couple of bikes that are in my way, so I'm going to make this area accessible and we'll get started. Next, I'm going to trim some of this tree. It grows underneath a concrete slab. I use, I forget what it's called, but you make a fresh cut, you paint it on there, and it will kill the branch or the tree itself. So I've been working on trying to kill that for years now. It keeps coming back, but it's kind of all tangled in the other bikes, so I got to do that first. Alright, sorry about the noise guys, that's the air conditioning going, but now that I've got that corner over there cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple cinder blocks and get this planter leveled before I even add dirt to it. I want to make sure that it's really movable and that I have the ability to adjust it if I need to. Alright guys, I think that's pretty perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on transplanting from here to over there. Found this plastic canvas, so I'm going to use that to cover my hole. Hey, I just wanted to jump in to say I did not use the 14-inch saucer after all. When I tried it underneath, because it wasn't on a completely supported surface, it didn't fit right, so I don't think it would have been beneficial at all. I will have to replace it with a 16-inch one most likely, or just have to not use a tray altogether. And once I got the planter back on the center block, I realized I wanted to push it back farther, so I adjusted it again. Just has to be right, you know. And then I made sure there were no blemishes in the pot. I went ahead and I pruned just a few branches, and then I started working on getting it out of its container. The soil had a lot of extra soil that wasn't actually attached to any roots, and I didn't want to be transplanting that as well. It's really heavy, so I had to take a break. But I did it in portions. I took my time. This project actually took me about 2 hours to complete, because again, like, my back hurts, it'll hurt my knees, my nerve pain, so I just try to take it slow and do the best that I can. I went ahead and added some potting soil to the bottom. I realized that the soil had been sitting in the sun for a really long time. It was pretty dry, so I was going to add my fertilizer and go ahead and soak it a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add my favorite citrus fertilizer. This is the EB Stone Organics fertilizer. I had been using a different brand, the Jobs, I believe, and I just wasn't impressed with it, so this is the one that I definitely prefer over the other one. So I went ahead and I sprinkled just a little bit of that in. I followed the instructions for citrus containers. I mixed it up a little bit, and then of course I added some water to help the soil get a little bit moist first. And then I went ahead and I placed my tree. I rotated it a couple times just to find the perfect spot, and then I packed the soil down around it to make sure there was no air around the root ball and that all the roots were covered by soil. I went ahead and I added some soil to top it off with a little extra fertilizer on top. I will come back later and water it again tonight, because again, that soil was really dry and I really want it to be able to absorb the moisture. And as you can see here, I got a little bit dirty. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? You're playing with some dirt. So I watered it in really well. And like I said, I'll probably give it some extra water tonight. I started to clean up the area around it, sweeping everything away. And one thing led to another, and I ended up pruning some plants here. And here, when I was pruning my roses, I usually try to find a set of 5 leaves, and I also pay attention to the direction that they're facing, because I don't want the branches growing backwards into the fence. I want them going either side and out front. So found some bindweed, super long one. I have an issue with that. Alright everyone, I finally got the lemon tree completely planted. I'm very hot, I'm enjoying the shade. I took my socks off so I could hose down my legs and my Crocs. But the Meyer Lemon tree is officially replanted. I gave it a deep soak, and I will apply my chelated iron to it a little bit later today or even tomorrow, because it does need to be watered before you apply the application. I also did a little bit of cleaning up in this bed, pruned this rose a little bit. I trimmed back my yarrow, and I also finally deadheaded my Echinacea, so it's looking a little bit more happy. This whole yard used to be full sun when I first moved in. There was no trees, and this tree here grew itself in the 7-8 years I've been in this unit, which is pretty awesome. But as you can see, everything is shady in the middle part of the day. And then once the sun goes a little bit past that, it gets later afternoon sun again. So I've been slowly transitioning from full sun plants to part sun and more shade, which I'm really excited about. So I'm gonna go grab a nice ice water, come out and enjoy my little garden spot with willow. We had some goldfinches, or lesser goldfinches, at my bird bath earlier, so I'm just gonna go enjoy the shady part of the afternoon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.